Hello everyone. It's been a while since I made a YouTube video, and honestly it's just because I've been doing so many other different things, and I wanted to make a video before this one, but this just happened to come at the right time, and with it being August, it's called October now, it's trending, but I saw this pop up on eBay and I couldn't help but purchase it like right away, pretty much. I was worried about making this purchase because I saw that it was a Poly Shroud Ghostface mask, and I was looking through the pictures and cross-referencing everything that I've known about Ghostface. I was just like, this has to be a Gen 1, right? But Poly Shroud was nothing that I was aware of happening or being a thing, I should say. But I made the purchase and I was just going through my head like, was I right? Like, and then I started to like doubt myself when I saw the description and everything, because the person that was selling it didn't know what they had. They did know that it was like a generation 1 or 2, but they just weren't so sure which, and I wasn't sure which. So it was kind of like just an impulse buy. I was like, yeah, and I'll buy it, and whatever happens, happens. So then the mask showed up, and before it showed up, I was doing research, and I came across a John Boyd Productions video about the original Ghostface masks that he made like 3 years ago, I think it was. He went over like the three types of Gen 1s. Typically the mouthpieces, how you identify them real quick. It was like the multi-dot, the second dot, and then when he got to the small dot, he said that is one where for some reason, it must have been like late in the production, but they did do a Cotton Shroud and a Poly Shroud version. That being said, I got the mask in person, I was examining it, and it is in fact a Poly Shroud Gen 1 small dot. Now, I don't know if you can pick it up, but in this corner of the mouth right here, right, boop, right there, is what they call a small dot. And this is the very first Gen 1 that I own now. Wild, because I can't find anything on the internet about these things except for that video that I just talked about. So I was a little confused after I got it, because all I did know was that Gen 1s always came with a Cotton Shroud. And then when I dug into John Boyd Productions, like I said, his video before about going down the list, he did specifically mention that Gen 1s did come in a Cotton and Poly Shroud, even though the Poly Shrouds seem to be, I would say, more rare than the Cotton Shroud, even though that's what everyone seeks after, because it's like movie original, version. But I'm extremely happy with owning a Poly Shroud Gen 1. I'm still on the hunt for a Cotton Shroud Gen 1, as well as the other colors. This mask is in beautiful condition also, and I'm just happy to finally own a Gen 1 Ghostface mask. Like I said, the video I saw about John Boy was one of the only ones I saw, and then I saw this other one, the name's escaping me, but she was cleaning a Lee Weidell's personal Ghostface mask, the actor who played Ghostface in the original Scream movie. His version was also a small dot Poly Shroud. It was just his personal collection. I don't know the story about how he got it, or if it was like someone gifted it to him or whatever, but like I said, these are the only two videos I've seen, and I tried to do research on it. Few sales popped up, but they wanted you to like register to see what they went for. Other than that, there's just like no real information about Poly Shroud Gen 1s, and I'm not sure why. Like I said in that in Drown Boy's video, he did talk about how when he was starting out, I mean, obviously these are really hard to tell apart. When I first started, I thought, the hard plastic was the original, because I didn't know any better, and I was like, oh, it's the same thing. It's like people are selling it for $5. Why are they selling it for 500 online? There's a huge difference after you get to know and do your research. That being said, I do have this is the Gen 1 and this is a Gen 2 Cotton Shroud. And when you hold them up next to each other like this, you can start seeing and telling the difference between them. You know, when I first started collecting, these two would just look the same to me. But you can kind of tell with the eyes, the nose, and the mouth, how they kind of start to look different after a while. But yeah, I mean, you can't even really tell from this, like which one's a cotton, which one's a poly. I mean, cotton doesn't give off like a reflection like the Poly Shroud does. It's strange that the one Gen 1 mask I own now is something that you just don't find or even find for sale. Once again, going back to Drown Boy's video, he even talked about how potentially he might have had more of these Gen 1 Poly Shrouds, but with the little information they knew while he was collecting, he just marked them as a Gen 2. But this small dot is one of the signs that you do have a Gen 1 Poly Shroud or cotton. It doesn't matter. Like I said, it's just strange how you don't see these on the market, at least me personally. And I tried to do the whole Google search Poly Shroud. I came up with like one Facebook post by somebody, I think 2 other eBay auctions, but it was just like the description of what they were selling. It didn't have a price, when it was, or anything like that. So yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful copy also. To see these things the way they are, no whitening treatment, and having this like bone kind of whitening to them, it's rare, and it's hard to keep these things in good condition because, you know, sunlight hits them, or some of the bacteria, this vinyl reacts strangely to weather conditions or storage. Sometimes people like put their name on the back with ink. Bacteria would start making yellow, pink, and like we've seen with the 25th anniversary mask, they would turn blue. To find these masks without any like coloring distortions or anything like that, it's extremely difficult to find. I am really, really glad that I have this in my possession. I don't even know how to really display my Ghostface mask. I have a couple that I love. This is going to be my new number 1, I believe. And I do have a Gen 2 Instant Disguise mask, which I really, really love. And once again, don't really see those on the market too often. And a Gen 2 Cotton Shroud orange Ghostface mask. That being said, I've seen the ones I want on the market on eBay, but the asking price is just insane. This was reasonable. I won't disclose the price. Yeah, it was just like something that I just acted on, you know. You can always, money's always coming in, you know. Yeah, this is probably a short video, but I just wanted to make one because this was something that I was really proud to not only find randomly just searching on eBay, but now having in my possession and being one of the few people to have a video about this on YouTube now. Like I said, if you own a Gen 1, is it Poly Shroud or cotton? Do you happen to have this one? Because as far as I know, small dots Gen 1s are the only ones that have the variant of being a Poly Shroud. Yeah, let me know in the comments, because it's strange. I don't know why more people don't have videos about these things, because you would think they'd be kind of up there with being rare, on the rare side, I'd say, because the most sought after one is the Cotton Shroud. This is, from my understanding, I'd say more rare, because it was at the end of the line for these Gen 1s. I don't know why they moved over to Poly Shroud, but I guess they were doing like that whole in-between, because even the Gen 2s had both Poly Shroud and Cotton Shroud variants. But yeah, let me know if you own one of these. And like I said, this is it's just a strange thing to be part of, like a very few people who now have made a Gen 1 Poly Shroud video. Finally have one. Cotton Shroud's next. And any of the colors would be amazing to get into my collection. And like I said before, I'm going to be done collecting those, I think. I mean, I don't want every single variant of Ghostface. That's not what I personally want to collect. But having all the original, like the original lineup, is definitely on top of my list. Even the white Cotton Shroud Gen 1, which I was going to buy. I saw it pop up in eBay. They were asking a crazy amount. But I was just like, should I just do it? And like, just say screw it, whatever. But I passed it up. I don't have any regrets passing it up either. Now I'm part of the rare few people who made a YouTube video about a Poly Shroud Gen 1, which is just another rare thing to have now. Like and subscribe. Tell me what variant you have, or if you have also a Gen 1 Poly Shroud, I would like to know, because like I said before, I don't see these. They're rare. I try to look them up. Every time I look up Gen 1 Ghostface, no matter if I put Poly Shroud after it, it just gives me all the information so you can identify these things, or just sales with just the original Cotton Shroud variant. So I'm trying to look for other people who have these things and how rare this actually is, because like I said, this had to be, like, from the information I've gathered, at the very end of the Gen 1 line, where they were just, for whatever reason, switching out shrouds. And yes, it does have that vanilla smell. Very nostalgic. I always have to smell these things. It's a problem. But until next time.